What is your role going to be in recruiting? Are you going to be given a geographic area like some of the other coaches, or will you be focusing on finding kickers and punters and long snappers?
I think it's going to be the same as every other coach. So far, I mean, in the past, I was assigned the south region of Texas, I guess, because of the proximity with Mexico. I was not allowed to go on the road because we can only have so many people on the road. But, like, I would look up, like players on the internet and of those schools in that area. And kind of like if I found somebody, like bring it to the attention of one of the coaches that was getting on the road so they could go visit. But at this point, I believe whatever area is available, I'll be assigned, because now with the new position, I will be allowed to go out on the road, visit schools, talk to the coaches and everything. So I don't know exactly what's going to be the arrangement. I haven't been told yet, but whatever it is, I'm ready to do it. Yeah.
As you get ready to go into August, your first preseason camp as the special teams coach, what do you have in mind as the first areas that you need to address or focus on when you first take over the special teams this fall?
Well, I think like over the last 5-6 years, I mean, we've done a wonderful job on special teams, and like I'm not gonna be like somebody that's gonna try to reinvent the wheel, because the people that I learned from honestly are the best in the business. Like that Coach Gans Senior, Coach Gans Junior, Coach McKnight. So not all of a sudden I'm not going to try to kind of like add my own personal style and do different things. I think we've done great, and we've like worked on those areas that needed to be addressed from the beginning. Of course, there's always room for improvement, so we have to kind of like polish our technique. We have some players that we lost. We're going to have new players, and technique is always a big plus. So we're going to have to work on those areas with the players that are going to be performing those roles on special teams, basically. But as far as the schemes and everything, I mean, what we were doing is just great, so why change it? So, yeah.
You haven't been the special teams coach, but obviously you have been around the team and on the staff for several years, so you know a lot of the players. Do you go into preseason camp with ideas in mind about who's going to fill key roles, the kicker, the deep snapper, the punt return, or do you go into August saying everything is wide open?
Well,
because they're all auditioning for you for the first time.
Well, no, I mean, even though I wasn't in charge of special teams the past few seasons, I worked very closely with Coach Gans. So together, we basically organized the depth charts, and we were talking about who would be a good fit for this particular role or whatever. So I'm very familiar with the personnel we have. I know the players, know the scheme. So we have an idea of who's going to play particular positions. And of course, there's other spots that, since we lost a couple of players, are open. And we will see who is the best fit for that particular role. As far as the specialist kickers, the only player that we lost was a long snapper. So the long snapper that was the backup last year will start as the first long snapper. If we're able to find somebody else that can do a better job, because he's also, one of the players on defense, we'll just try to see if he can do it the way we want him to do it. But I think we are not going to start from scratch. We have a pretty good idea of what we want. Yeah.
Some coaches try not to play freshmen, would rather redshirt freshmen whenever they can. In terms of special teams, do you worry about freshmen making the jump from high school to college and maybe that jump being too big, or the nerves of impressing new coaches and new teammates? Would you rather not play freshmen, or are you comfortable playing a true freshman back on special teams if he earns that spot?
Well, I feel that if we recruited those players, we feel that they are good enough to play. So, of course, developing the talent of that player always is a factor. But if there's a need to play some of those freshmen, I have no problem playing them. Now, in some cases, that's not my call. I mean, because those freshmen also play other positions, not only special teams. So the needs of the team will determine if those players will play right away or will wait for a year. We need to see how they move around initially, how they handle the pressure that you're talking about, because it's a different environment. Some of those guys look like 3-4 year veterans. Some guys look that they're lost because they're just trying to get acclimated. So I guess you have to go on a case-by-case basis. And I mean, overall, people say, well, freshmen are not experienced enough. They need to kind of like work their way into the system and learn how the college game is played. Yes, I agree with that, but at the same time, there's also freshmen that are really mature and they can handle everything right away. So we'll see that probably the first week of camp, and we will determine who can and who will be who has to wait a little bit longer. Yeah.
A lot of people, both players and coaches, when they join a new team or when they get a new position, they admit to being nervous, or they talk about being excited, or they go through a range of emotions. Mm-hmm. You're getting ready for your first season as the special teams coach, but you've already been here several years. Are your emotions any different as you get ready for this season compared to the last few years that you've been here?
Well, I don't think so. I'm so used to be around this group of people, these players, that I would say it's just another day in the office. Now, honestly, like, it's different because, like, in the past, if something went wrong, I was not responsible for it. I was just the assistant. But now, something goes wrong, and the first person they're going to look at is myself. And as I was saying to a couple of friends yesterday, it's like, like, everybody's congratulating me. Oh, I did a great job. I'm happy for you, whatever. Like, hey, I mean, it took me some time to get here, but now the real test starts now, because if you don't deliver, I mean, this thing can go south in like a matter of a week. So, I mean, you better get ready and do what you're supposed to do 100%. So, I know it's not nervousness, but or pressure, but you feel responsible. So I guess that's the only feeling. But I've been in this position before. I mean, not at SMU, but in Europe, I had the same. I was a head coach for 10 years, and I had all those teams, and we were expected to deliver and win. They were investing a lot of money, and we were playing continental tournaments, Euro Bowls. Was offensive coordinator as well, so offense didn't work. I was held accountable for that too. So it's not a new feeling for me. It's just a different environment, I would say.